information, call 575-678-1178. Today's forecast is calling for sunny and windy in Alamogordo. Expect high of 59, low of 38. Cloudcroft, high of 47 and an overnight low of 30. For tomorrow, we're looking at sunny skies. Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 65, low of 37. Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 50, overnight low of 24. Weather and roadblock information have been brought to you by TDS. Bring high-speed internet, digital TV, and crystal clear telephone service into your home. Visit hellotds.com. TDS, proudly serving Alamogordo and southern New Mexico.
This is the KNMZ Football Roundtable, Season 31. Once again, 5 local business people and a competition picking winners from the best high school, college, and NFL games every week. Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland and Harris Agency, Donna Columbus of First National Bank, Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group, Timothy Brock of Christ Community Church, and Jake Roberts of Caldwell Banker Sudderth Nelson. Now, let's get to the picks. ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Hello and welcome into the KNMZ Football Roundtable. Hope everybody's having a very good Friday. Happy Thanksgiving, belated Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you're enjoying your Black Friday, Shop Small Saturday tomorrow. And we're ready to head on to another week of picks this week. Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland Harris Agency. You had a good week last week, Manny.
Thank you, and thanks to Cesar Acosta for filling in for me and swinging for the fences. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the Tularosa Valley and the greater Alamogordo-Holloman Metroplex. Happy Thanksgiving weekend.
And he picked Notre Dame and Oakland last week, and they both won for you.
Well, and I'm real excited about tomorrow. And by the way, a moment of personal privilege. An old compadre is visiting from out of town. Rick Underwood, a musician, songwriter, guitarist extraordinaire, is visiting his family this week, and his girlfriend Laura is here from Dallas. Just want to give a shout out to Rick Underwood. And by the way, he's holding court at Chili's later this evening. If anyone needs to track down Rick Underwood for a bad debt or an old debt or something, you can find him. So there's your shout out, my brother, Rick Underwood. Welcome back to Alamogordo.
Dang, you're like putting him on blast on the radio. That was, hey, Rick, I'm sorry. I mean, who needs friends when you've got Manny around? I mean, wow. All right. Lara Sanborn is filling in for Brian Smysett from First National Bank. Lara,
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Not too bad. Good Thanksgiving?
I had a great Thanksgiving. I got my nephews in town, so can't complain.
And they're keeping you running all over the place.
Oh, all over the place.
All right. And Brian had a very good week as well. Had the best out of any of us, 13-2 last week. Justin Ligon from Desert Sun Motors is filling in for, I should say Desert Sun Auto Group, because I think you're a Toyota, Desert Sun Toyota shop there. But filling in for Brandon Burling. You doing all right, man?
Doing great.
You got to be feeling okay about your Colts right now.
4-game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Luck hasn't been sacked in 5 weeks in a row.
That's crazy.
We're rolling.
I didn't even know that stat. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Timothy Brock from Christ Community Church, still in first place. That lead shrunk a little bit last week, though.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it didn't shrink with you. Me and you kind of...
Yeah.
It's funny because I was looking at you all week. I was like, oh, okay, Charles missed that one. I missed that one. And I forgot about old Brian. He snuck back in there.
Right.
He was off my radar. I forgot I had headspace in there. So, yeah.
I didn't lose any ground to you, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay that
you had a chance to gain ground, Charles. I had a bad week.
I had a bad week too, though, so it was kind of like it was sort of indifferent there. There's more weeks to make up the ground, I figure, but
we're having a good time. This is fun.
Jake Roberts from Caldwell Banker Sudderth Nelson, who had a good week last week, probably didn't gain as much ground as he would have liked on Old Tim.
Not so much. Some of my picks kind of were swinging for the fences, and I missed. But just want to say, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Hope everybody's being safe on Black Friday, and let's do another round of picks.
Yeah. All right, so by the way, Tim's still in first place. He's got 2 on Brian. I am 5 back of Tim. Jake is 2 back of me. And then it's another 4 back to Brandon and Manny. Well,
He's hanging around there, right? Having fun. That's the most important part.
I'm just hanging around because I enjoy this panel so much, especially these young guys. It's entertainment. It's cheap entertainment.
They were giving you a hard time on the show last week.
I listened. I listened to the whole thing. I couldn't be here. Have to take care of business when business is available. So, but I did have access to a radio, so I heard everything everybody said. And that's I've got broad shoulders, and you guys, I can say what I really think, but I'm not going to because we're live on the radio.
We'll wait for that first commercial break.
There it is.
To be fair, Manny has more wins than the Raiders do, so.
Yeah, well, they won last week, though. I was happy for Derek Carr in that group. It was nice to see them get a win. All right, Goddard at Los Lunas. This is a Friday game, I think. I can't remember if this is tonight or if this is tomorrow. Let me pull that up real quick because I don't remember off the top of my head. This is tomorrow, actually, so Saturday afternoon in Los Lunas. These teams played earlier this year in Roswell. I think it was 28-27 that Goddard got the win that time. Goddard's only loss this season is to Roswell. Los Lunas has lost to both Roswell teams this year. So Los Lunas rebounded nicely. They lost their best player early in the season. He's not back, but they've managed to figure some things out and have continued to play well. They won their district and had a very good 8-2 season. We're down to the nitty-gritty at this point. There's no bad teams left, and trying to figure out who you want to take in some of these games, good luck. But Rockets on the road at the Los Lunas Tigers. Manny, who do you like?
Well, I tell you, I'd like to pick Goddard, but just looking at warming up into the playoffs, last three, Goddard has put up 99 points, given up 52 points. Los Lunas has put up 91 points, only given up 19 points. So their defense is overperforming right now. They are at home. I'm going to reluctantly pick Los Lunas Tigers.
Larry?
I'm going to go with Brian's picks that he gave me, and I'm going to choose Goddard.
Okay. Sticking with the Rockets there.
Yep.
Justin?
I'm going to stick with the Rockets as well.
Tim?
Manny's got a real persuasive thought there. If you look at Los Lunas, they only lost by one to Goddard early in the year, and they've been on fire since then. They also just barely lost to Roswell a few weeks ago, and they've rolled through everybody else. So, man, I literally, people can see my paper. I literally have question marks by every game. So then I was like, what is the point? I'm just going to read the room and hope and a prayer. I'm going to go with Goddard, but, man, I think Manny's going to get this one right.
All right. Jake?
So this might be my inexperience when it comes to high school, but I have a quick question. Goddard's the number 2 seed, right?
Yeah.
So why are they traveling to the number 3 seed?
In New Mexico high school football, once you get to the semifinals, it's based on where you played the playoff game last. So last time Goddard and Los Lunas played each other in the postseason, it was in Roswell. And so that means that Goddard owes them a playoff game, so they go to Los Lunas.
Okay, because I'm going through this, and I'm seeing everything. I'm like the one game or the 1 point loss. Who's at home, and I'm like, this is really struggling with me to deal with what's going on here. But I still like Goddard. Goddard has the higher seed. I've been riding the Rockets, and I'm going to take them on this one too. I know Los Lunas is great. They only lost by 1 point. They do look good, but I just think Goddard's.
Yeah, better.
Goddard's there. They're just better.
Do you want to mention something real quick, and so you guys know before we get to the pick? It's Centennial at La Cueva when we get down to that game here in a second. I had that incorrect, so that game is in Albuquerque coming up tonight. I just wanted to. We're going to get to that here in a second, but I was looking at that going, that doesn't seem right.
That changes everything.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, definitely could. That's why I wanted to give you guys a little bit of time to think about it. So, I'm going to go Goddard. I think at the end of the day, they're the better team. But it's a coin flip kind of game, and Tim's absolutely right. Manny could certainly get this on us, but I think Goddard, they give a little bit of respect here, and I think they got lucky in the fact that they didn't get Artesia in the semifinal, in all fairness, because I think Goddard, Roswell, and Artesia are the 3 best teams in the state. I think there's a little bit of a gap back to Los Lunas, so I'm going to go Goddard, but boy, if it was 28-27 in Roswell, certainly I believe Los Lunas can win that football game. All right, the other semifinal in Class 5A, Artesia going to head just up the road to the Wool Bowl, take on number 1 Roswell. Artesia beat Roswell earlier this year by a point at the Bulldog Bowl. So this time they've got to go on the road. Artesia got past Piedra Vista pretty easily last week. Roswell cruised in their game last week against Valley. And Artesia, you look at their losses this year, none of them are to bad teams. They've lost to Goddard and Hobbs and Cleveland and Carlsbad. Roswell's losses are to Hobbs and Artesia. This is another one that, man, it's just a coin flip kind of game. You don't think the road trip is going to make too big of a difference. Artesia plays the Wool Bowl once or twice every year. It's not an unusual place for them to go, and it's going to be rocking there coming up tonight. So we'll see what happens. But Blair, what do you like?
I'm going to have to go with Roswell. Number 1 seed, got to stick with them.
All right, she likes the Coyotes. Justin?
I'm going with Roswell as well.
All right. Tim?
I mean, I thought the lure of Artesia would sway half the room to go with the Bulldogs. They beat Roswell head-to-head. But, again, I think we're going to have an all Roswell High versus Goddard High championship. That's what I'm kind of banking on here. So I'm going to go with the Coyotes at home to win this one.
Yeah, I got to see both teams this year. I feel like I was a little bit more impressed with Roswell than Artesia. Not by much, though. I mean, Artesia was very good, and I don't know. Jake, who do you like?
I'm going to stick with Roswell.
All right.
Number 1 seed. Just, yeah. Plus, I can't let Tim,
get away from me. Yeah.
Get a cheap game on me.
Again, if you guys pick everything I pick, I'm gonna win. So I'm okay with.
I'm gaining games. I am gaining games.
But you got,
1 or 2 at a time.
But you got to pick the right ones to pick against.
That's right. It's tricky.
Yeah. I'm just to be contrarian, I'm going to go Artesia. I think it's a coin flip kind of game. I do believe Roswell's probably the better team, but how much does that mean? Depends on who plays better coming up tonight. Manny.
Okay, Artesia 7-4, Roswell's 9-2. Last 3 games, they're both 2-1. You talk about close statistics. The Bulldogs have put up 119 points and given up 79 points. The Coyotes have put up 115 points and given up 78 points. I mean, these guys are neck and neck. Get out a silver dollar and flip it. That's how you pick this one. Mm-hmm. It is in the Wool Bowl. I'm going to go Coyotes.
All right. Yeah, I think both the 5A semifinals, I mean, who knows what's going to happen there. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, this game's in Albuquerque coming up tonight. Centennial traveling up the road to take on La Cueva. This will be at Wilson Stadium, which I guess that's kind of closer to La Cueva than any of the other stadiums there in Albuquerque. But both teams are 11-0, and you talk about a coin flip kind of game. I mean, I think both of these teams have had a few scares this year. When you look at their schedule, there have been some games that they, against teams maybe you didn't expect them to be in a close one with, but they managed to pull out the win. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. They're both undefeated, and they're both a game away from getting a chance to play for the championship. So we'll see what happens. Justin, you get first honors on this one.
Perfect. I'm going to take the road team on this one. Centennial playing in Albuquerque.
Okay. Tim.
So the first 2 games, I figured we'd have a 3-3 split. This one probably will be a 3-3 split because Manny's example of flipping a coin, his analogy of that, I think it's true for all of these games, maybe with one exception. I'm going to go La Cueva just because they seem to, they've barely won the last 2 weeks. Sometimes that kind of you kind of get a winning spirit, and then things can fall into place for them. So I'm going to go with La Cueva at home.
Jake.
Yeah, these games should be hard. These are the best of the best, and that's that's why we're in the playoffs. So that's what we're hoping for, is to not have a real obvious game, and I think that's what we were looking for here. I did have Centennial because I thought they were at home, and I apologize. I should have caught that anyway. However, I've been taking Centennial all year long, and I'm going to stick with them. I think they're just, I don't know, something about that team, special year. I want to see them take it all the way.
I don't know. I just think the better teams are in the metro area this year, again, with Cleveland and La Cueva. But this is most certainly a coin flip game. I'm going to go home team in this case. I think it makes a little bit more of a difference. I'm going to go La Cueva. Me?
Wow. Both of these teams have had a great season. In the last part of the season, though, I think Centennial's offense has really showed up. Defenses do win championships, and I think Centennial's offense and defense is just a little better, and plus, they're from the southern part of the state, so I'm rooting for Centennial, and that's all I've got to say about that.
All right, he likes the Hawks. Claire, who are you going with?
Centennial.
Centennial, okay.
I like the South, too. I'm with Manny.
Well, a few more on Centennial that time. All right, Volcano Vista, Cleveland. Now, I think this is the one that Tim's probably was alluding to, that may be the easiest pick of the bunch. Am I right?
No.
No, you're picking the Eunice game is. Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting game. 61-46, Cleveland won it earlier this year. But their star running back, who they had for that game, has been hurt. Now, they won last week easily. They're still an excellent football team without their running back. I don't believe he'll be back for the postseason. They're undefeated. Volcano Vista's only losses are to La Cueva and Cleveland. It's not as if they've lost anybody bad this year. And I thought played very well against Cibola last week in a game that was pretty close during the regular season between those two teams. Something should be noted here. Volcano Vista's head coach is suspended for the first half of the game. All I read was that he made contact with a Cibola player. Don't know what exactly happened there, but clearly the NMAA felt like it was something that he should be disciplined for. So I don't know how much of a difference that'll make. I mean, he's going to get to game plan with the team all week. He's going to, probably get to, he'll get to chat with him at the locker room if they need to make adjustments, but who knows if that'll make a difference or not. Tim.
Yeah, again, this is not the one that I thought was obvious. I think this is another one that could go either way. These two teams played each other really close back at the end of October, 61-46. I mean, that's like the high school version of the Rams and Chiefs from the
Speaking of, how was that game?
It was great. It was crazy. I was at the game. It was wild. But let's not digress. We'll get to the NFL later, Jake. You're confusing me. You're trying to throw me off my game, and I'm not going to let you do that. I think it'd be foolish to jump off of Cleveland's bandwagon, even though they did lose their star running back. I have no idea. I'm going to go Cleveland.
Jake.
Yeah, I like Cleveland in this one, too.
I'm going to go Storm. I think they've been too good all year, but it would not be a shock in my lifetime if Volcano Vista beat them. So, but I think I like the Storm at their place. Manny?
Undefeated and in their home uniforms, I'm going Cleveland.
Blair?
Cleveland.
Justin?
Cleveland.
All right, everybody likes the Storm. See, now I think this is an interesting game, but Eunice has been just spectacular this year. Eunice is 11-0. Santa Rosa is 11-1. Their only loss is to Dexter. And if you want to play the matching game, these two teams didn't play each other this year, but Eunice, when they played Dexter, beat them soundly. So you could certainly argue that point. Santa Rosa's got a lot of history. They've played exceptionally well in championship games over the year, but well, you talk to anybody in the know, they believe that the Cardinals are just heads and shoulders above anybody else in Class 2A, and I've heard from a couple people they could probably win the Class 3A title this year as well. So, Jake, who do you like?
Yeah, so this one's going to be a really close game, I think. But I do think the Cardinals are the better team. I'm going to take the Cardinals. They're averaging something like 48 points per game, where Santa Rosa's right at 37. I mean, at the end of the day, that's maybe not that big of a spread. And even on defense, the Cardinals are giving up around 6, whereas Santa Rosa's 11. So I mean, we're really splitting hairs. It really could go down to a touchdown either way. But I'm still going to take Eunice at home.
And by the way, if I didn't mention this top, this is the 2A state championship game. I'm going to go Eunice. I think it's hard to pick against them at this point in the year. They've been as dominant as a team as we've seen in any classification over the last few years. It would be pretty disappointing. I think this is their 4th straight state title game that they're playing in. They won the 3A title last year, and they played in the state title game the 2 previous years in 3A before that. So they've definitely done well with the group of kids that they've got over there, and the coaching's done a great job. Manny?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All season long, they've given up 73 points.
Yeah.
Wow. In the last 3 games, they've given up 12 points. What do they say? Defenses win championships. Go Cardinals.
There.
Eunice as well.
All right, Justin?
Well, me and Brendan need to sneak one here, and we're going to take Santa Rosa.
All right.
Even though Brandon took Eunice. Santa Rosa.
Tried to sneak one in there.
Absolutely.
I got it. Tim?
Well, I think Santa Rosa should certainly give them a little bit of props. They lost their first game of the year to Dexter, and then they've run the table since. So these are two teams rolling in with a major winning streak. But, man, Eunice, to me, the team that was going to be tough for them was Estancia, who kind of gave Santa Rosa a tough game later in the season. And they just destroyed Estancia. I saw Estancia live. They were, I thought, crazy good. So, to me, Eunice, I think they're going to win going away. I'm going to go Eunice.
All right. And, by the way, the other semifinal games this week in 3A. By the way, congrats to Tularosa Wildcats on a great season. They ran into a buzzsaw in Hope Christian last week. But Hope Christian gets Robertson this week. That's 7 o'clock up at Milne Stadium. West Las Vegas takes on Dexter in the other Class 3A semifinal. In Class 4A, St. Pius takes on Bloomfield in Albuquerque. and Portales will get Taos. I'm kind of curious to see what happens in that game. I was really surprised how badly Taos beat Lovington last week. I thought that'd be a little bit closer than it was. So, and St. Pius barely escaped Aztec last week, so they might be ripe for an upset. There's the 1 seed. All right, and 8-man championship is this weekend too, which I think is Gateway Christian and Tatum is coming up this week. So, all right, we'll fit in our first commercial break. More of the KNMZ Football Roundtable coming up for you next here on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7.
Hi, I'm Pastor Tim Brock, and I'd like to invite you to Christ Community Church, a place to belong, a place to come together, and a place to leave inspired. We have dynamic worship, engaging and relevant Bible teaching, and excellent ministries for everyone in the family. Our worship services are Sundays at 9 and 11:15. Christ Community Church, where it's about relationship, not religion, and where Jesus Christ is Lord. For more information, find us online at christcommunityalamo.org.
This is Brandon with Desert Sun. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Desert Sun Auto Group consists of 5 dealerships across the great state of New Mexico. This means we have 5 new car departments with over 500 vehicles to choose from and over 200 quality pre-owned vehicles. Majority of these vehicles, when bought from us, are backed with Desert Sun's lifetime powertrain protection. Stop by either Desert Sun Motors or Desert Sun Toyota today and let us help you find your new ride. See our full inventory at DesertSunMotors.com.
Hi, my name is Jake Roberts, and I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker Southern Nelson. Are you looking for your dream home, or are you looking to sell your property and need the guidance to get noticed? I can help you with professional real estate services today. Call me at 575-446-8574 or email me at jake@nmvistas.com. To view a list of our inventory, visit our website at alamogordo-coldwellbanker.com or visit us at 800 Scenic Drive in Alamogordo.
If you and your family are looking for a new home, you don't have to look far for a home mortgage. As a community bank, we not only have great rates, we offer you friendly financial service right here in the neighborhood. There are a lot of options in real estate lending. We're here to see that you get a loan you can live with. Talk to us about your home mortgage. We're an equal housing lender. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back to the KNMZ Football Roundtable. Moving on to our college picks for this week, and it's the rivalry, man. You can argue what rivalry is the best in college football, but there's no argument that Michigan Ohio State is right up there towards the top. Number 4 Michigan, number 10 Ohio State. Both these teams would still need to win one more game in order to have a chance to play for a national championship, but Michigan's getting 4.5 on the road. Ohio State has been holding on by their fingertips the last few weeks. That win over Maryland last week was a perfect example of that. They probably shouldn't have won that game, but alas, they did. So here we are, an important game between these two teams, and Urban's never lost to Michigan, right? I think has he beat them every time? Maybe he lost in that first year, but
he's living rent-free.
Yeah.
He's living
Jim Harbaugh's head.
Yeah, he's playing with house money.
Now he looks like he's about. Just watching him on the sidelines, that that seems to be the favorite thing ESPN likes to do is let's make sure we have a shot of Urban the entire game and see how he's feeling. So, Lara, we'll let you start it off. Who you like?
Oh man, this is super rough for me because one of my best friends is an Ohio State fan, but I have asked multiple people their thoughts, and they all said Michigan.
Oh.
So I know. I hear the I'm gonna go with Ohio State.
You're gonna go Ohio State. Oh, you switched it.
Right now.
I like it. That was a I don't know. Tim probably kind of a switch there.
Like,
let me explain why I'm gonna pick Michigan and then I'm gonna pick Ohio State.
Well, I should pick a team.
Yeah. Justin, do you like your pick?
I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to go with Big Blue on this one. I'm taking Michigan.
All right. Tim?
So Jim Harbaugh hasn't beaten Ohio State since Lara was born. 32 years. So you 32?
34, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're my age. Well, whatever. You look 32.
Oh, okay.
I actually think she has a really good pick there. Ohio State's at home. I know it's all about what you're used to, and you're used to Ohio State just like dominating. But Michigan hasn't really been dominating either. They've won some games, but the Big Ten's down. I mean, who have they beaten, in my opinion? So, to me, this is another coin toss game, but I don't like Ohio State. And so I'm going to go Michigan just because my heart tells me to go with them, but I don't trust it.
Yeah. All right, Jake?
I'll be taking Michigan. They're going in. I checked it this morning. It was a 3.5 point favorite. But despite the fact Ohio has won 13 of the last 14, the only time they lost that one is when Jim Tressel had stepped down. I'm actually hearing some rumblings that Urban Meyer might not return to Ohio.
Yeah, they've been talking about that.
So because of that, I'm kind of thinking maybe there's a little bit more turmoil in there, and I think Michigan's just going to be the better team this week.
And I can promise you, anybody who's an Ohio State fan at home is going crazy with you calling them just Ohio.
Yeah.
Is there any other team in Ohio?
Yes, there is.
I know. Yeah.
Rookie mistake.
It's all good.
Yeah, first-year guy over here. Keep you humble.
I'm not that worried about it.
Got big shoulders.
I'm gonna go Michigan. I think they've been the better team this year. I think their defense has been better more than anything else. And again, Ohio State's been living dangerously all year. Michigan's only lost is to Notre Dame, and clearly we've seen how good Notre Dame is this year. Ohio State went into Purdue and lost, and Purdue is not good. I mean, I think they've lost 3 straight since that Ohio State game. So I think things are unraveling a little bit there at the shoe. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Manny's right that Urban Meyer has free membership firmly planted in the heads of all Wolverine fans right now. So, but I'm gonna go Michigan. Manny?
The line's moving on this one, and so I'm a little concerned. And I think Michigan's got a better defense, just pound for pound. I'm going to be rooting for Ohio State because of personal reasons. I'm not sure I want Michigan back in the mix.
Yeah.
And so, but I think Michigan's going to win. I'm going to have to go Michigan.
All right, Apple Cup tonight in Pullman as Washington takes on Washington State. Washington State, I don't know if they've got a road to get to the college football playoff or not. They're going to need a decent amount of help from some of the teams in front of them, but they've played they played very well this season. Washington has been exceptionally up and down. Jake Browning has had it's Jake Browning, right? The quarterback. Josh, that's what I thought. He's had a very up and down season, so Washington's been a little bit of a difficult one to figure out for the most part. So this is another tough one. 2.5 going to the Cougars. Who knows? Jake, who do you like?
I'll be taking Washington State. It's just really hard to ignore the 36 touchdowns, 4,325 yards that quarterback Minshew is putting up for State, and they're actually more efficient in the run game. While Washington has more yards, Washington State actually has more touchdowns on like half the amount of yards. So it's kind of interesting. I think they're the better rounded team, and I'll take State on this one.
I just think the inconsistency of Washington scares me this year. It's a rivalry game, certainly a coin flip kind of game. It's essentially home field advantage in the spread right now. But I'll go Washington State. I think they've earned a little bit of my respect in terms of being able to pick them over the Huskies this year. Manny?
Yeah, I looked at this one pretty carefully. I don't remember what I remember, but I remember I was impressed. I was impressed by the Washington State Cougars. I'm going Cougars.
Where?
I'm going to have to do Washington State as well.
All right. Justin?
We're going to take the home team, Washington State.
Tim?
To me, this is a game that, as you alluded to in the opening, could go either way. Washington is more the team that's been there. The Mike Leach, he's a former Texas Tech coach, a little bit of a troubled time there at the end, but he was awesome. I mean, their offense is amazing. So I think the offense of Washington State's going to be the difference, but man, this is not yeah, we're all going to go Washington State, but I'm just saying that's not that obvious.
No, absolutely not. I think if somebody jumped out there, would have been a smart chance to take that. Jake Browning, by the way. I wasn't sure on that one.
Did I say Josh and you said Jake?
I said Jake, yeah.
I talked you out of it?
Yes, it's okay. No, I just wanted to make sure because
there's a Josh Browning from Alamogordo or
there
something.
is. That's why I thought we were confused because he was.
I was like, I have Josh. I know
I think
Josh.
he was a very good basketball player back in the day around here. All right, number 6 Oklahoma at number 12 West Virginia. This game lost a little bit of its luster when West Virginia lost last week, but they can still play spoiler for Oklahoma, and it's that long road trip out to Morgantown for OU this week. They are getting 3 points, but clearly there's still a lot of respect for Will Greer and West Virginia and Dana Holgerson's group, but Oklahoma still with an opportunity to get into the college football playoff. They still need some help from some of the teams in front of them, whether it be Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, whoever. But we'll see what goes down there. Justin, you're filling in for Brandon. Who you like?
Yeah, I think it is going to be a really tough game. West Virginia is pretty solid team. With that being said, Brandon picked Oklahoma. I'm going to go West Oklahoma. I got to stick with Oklahoma.
All right.
I was like, West Oklahoma.
West Oklahoma. All right. Yeah, and they both had trouble with Oklahoma State. OU pulled out the win, though. West Virginia did not. So that's about the only big difference you can see between these two sides. Tim.
Well, I'm going to go out there. I feel like I've picked a lot of the favorites. Last week I did it with El Dorado in the high school game. Got that one wrong. So I want to be... But West Virginia at home, I think, is the difference. I'm going to go West Virginia.
Jake?
I really thought I was going to pick up a game on this one. There's an over-under projected of like 85 total points. So if you're a 3-point favorite in an 85-point game, it could go just right down like the Los Angeles Rams, Kansas City game. They ran it right up to the end. I like West Virginia in this one. I like them at home. They're actually 0-3 against Oklahoma, but I'm going to take them anyway.
I think OU's the better team. I think it's a close game. Maybe the home field is a little bit of an advantage for West Virginia. It's going to be rocking in Morgantown this evening. 2 really good Friday night games, by the way. You got the Apple Cup, and then you got this game. I got to go OU, though. I just think Kyler Murray and the talent of that team, I'm going to give them the edge. Manny?
Yeah, West Virginia, the role of spoiler in a game like this, I don't think it gives you the mojo. Oklahoma, on the other hand, has got a lot more at stake. I think they're going to be playing downhill. I'm going Oklahoma.
Claire?
Oklahoma.
Okay. Let's pick one up on Tim there. Florida at Florida State. Just 7 points going to Florida. This is not the game that it usually is. There's really nothing on the line here. Pride for Florida State. Actually, I would say pretty much just pride for both sides, in all fairness. But Florida still, I think, has got a chance of getting into one of the New Year's bowl games if they play well down the stretch here. So we'll see what we get here. Tim.
Yeah, Florida's been up and down. Every time we think they're doing something great, they lose to Missouri at home by 21 points. So, man, I don't know. I understand Florida State's really down. I like Florida no matter what, but I just don't trust them. But I'm going to go Florida just because I'm a Florida fan.
Fair enough. Jake?
I actually don't think this one's going to be that close. I'm going to take Florida, but I went ahead and did some research just for Manny's behalf right here. It's 104 miles, parking lot to parking lot. 2 hours and 3 minutes. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Florida's got this.
Gainesville, Tallahassee. You get on the bus and make it happen.
Further than I thought it'd be.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Florida. Manny?
This one's about high school recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
This is about recruiting. You think about the universe of high school players that are on a bubble between these two programs. I'm going Florida. Yeah. And thank you for the mileage. That's very important.
I got you.
The Gators.
Justin?
Yeah, we're all on Florida on this one.
All right. And Notre Dame goes to USC. Notre Dame getting 11 points in this game. Notre Dame wins this. They are in the college football playoff. It's hard to imagine a scenario where they don't get in at that point. So, but USC, they're having a bad season. This could make it all feel a little bit better. That also can get them into a bowl game if they win it as well. So I don't know if that matters for USC. It certainly seems like Clay Helton may be on the way out there just because you lose to Cal and UCLA in back-to-back weeks. They're not feeling too hot about you, I'm sure. They're at the USC campus. Manny?
I repeat what I just said. USC is in a spoiler role, and I know that they always play the Irish tough, and they're going to play a tough game tomorrow night. I expect that. But I believe the Irish is just, I think they're on their way, and this is not going to be the game that stops them. Queen of Heaven, touchdown, Jesus.
Lara?
Notre Dame.
Justin?
Yeah, I'm taking Notre Dame as well.
It never gets old. I mean, it makes me laugh every time.
It's so poetic.
Yeah.
And this fluid, I love it. So I'll just say this. I got to be at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum last week. It is quite a venue. It's old. The parking is horrendous. It literally took us 2 hours to park for the Rams-Chiefs game. And people were like, it's going to cost you money. No kidding. It's going to cost us money. It's in L.A. Anyway.
No one walks in L.A.
It was crazy. We survived, and our car did not have all of its tires taken off. So we were, pleasantly surprised by that.
And also, I mean, there's 100,000 people there. So I mean, how very rarely you go to a place where there's 100,000 people at the games.
I literally told the people next to me, I was like, yeah, where I live, there's a third of the people in our community that are in this Coliseum right now. So yeah, it's pretty wild for a little small town guy like myself. So it's an amazing place. Glad I got to check that off my bucket list. I was supposed to be at this Notre Dame USC game instead, but I think I went to the right game.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this was going to be close. I was also listening to all the sports talk radio while I was in traffic trying to drive home. They do not like Clay Helton there in Southern California, as you can imagine. He's going home after this as well. I'm going to go with Notre Dame in a blowout.
Jake?
Notre Dame.
Yeah, I like the Irish. I think they'll take care of business here. I was really impressed more than anything with Notre Dame's defense against Syracuse last week. They were just dominant. Apologies to Jake again for not, this is like Matt Damon not getting on Jimmy Kimmel's show. Alabama never gets on our pick sheets, but I can't help it that they're 24-point favorites in the Iron Bowl.
I saw that.
It's like, I mean, I would love to put them on the sheet a little bit more, but my goodness, they seem to find a way.
There's plenty of time to talk about the Tide.
I was going to say, the next 2 weeks, certainly. I mean, Georgia-Bama in the SEC title game, and then when
it's
we
even
get
a
around
rivalry game against Auburn. I kind of expected them to be on here, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Auburn's kind of terrible this year.
They are not very good, but you never know. That's another situation where they could show up and have a pretty decent game. Other good games, by the way, LSU taking on Texas A&M, a couple of ranked teams in that matchup. That's only 3. Actually, Texas A&M's getting 3.5 in that game, if you can believe that. They're ranked much further down. I know they changed the name to the Deseret Duel, but it's still one of the great rivalries in college football. BYU and Utah used to be called the Holy War back in the day. That's coming up, and then you got Utah State, Boise State, which is a pretty good Mountain West matchup this week. So some other decent, really good college football weekend overall. And for those that want to torch themselves, New Mexico State is at Liberty tomorrow, and you can listen at noon here on ESPN.
Lynchburg.
I'm not going to listen to the radio tomorrow. I'll have the TV on with the Michigan.
You can listen to the radio. By the way, Notre Dame USC is on tomorrow if you want to listen to the radio. So.
Well, I'll have all the radios on and all the TVs on.
Okay, there you go. Whichever broadcast you feel like.
And I have to do the autumn leaves and the poop patrol early because I'm going to be in football tomorrow.
Well, I would hope you do it before the. Yeah, I hope you do it before the game. Well, all the games are gone. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones too. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. NFL picks coming up next.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
When someone thinks they have a better idea, like a new way to make it or a new place to take it, they start their own business. Every small business has lots of small ambitions. We can help you with about every financial service you'll need.
Keep paying attention while I learn a little bit.
To save your filing space, mobile banking from your smartphone, lines of credit for expansion, and online account access. To us, there's nothing small about small business. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
And the thing with high school,
are you looking to rent or need someone to manage your property? Hi, I'm Jake Roberts with Coldwell Banker, Sudderth Nelson. Did you know that we are the largest property management company in Alamogordo? Whether you are looking for a short-term housing solution or to turn an existing property into a great long-term investment, give us a call at 575-437-1137. Visit our website today at alamogordocoldwellbanker.com or come by and see us at 800 Scenic Drive.
Today's forecast is calling for sunny and windy in Alamogordo. Expect high of 59, low of 38. Cloudcroft, high of 47 and an overnight low of 30. For tomorrow, we're looking at sunny skies. Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 65, low of 37. Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 50, overnight low of 24.
This is Brandon with Desert Sun. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Desert Sun Auto Group consists of 5 dealerships across the great state of New Mexico. This means we have 5 new car departments with over 500 vehicles to choose from and over 200 quality pre-owned vehicles. The majority of these vehicles, when bought from us, are backed with Desert Sun's lifetime powertrain protection. Stop by either Desert Sun Motors or Desert Sun Toyota today and let us help you find your new ride. See our full inventory at DesertSunMotors.com.
Hi, I'm Pastor Tim Brock, and I'd like to invite you to Christ Community Church, a place to belong, a place to come together, and a place to leave inspired. We have dynamic worship, engaging and relevant Bible teaching, and excellent ministries for everyone in the family. Our worship services are Sundays at 9 and 11:15. Christ Community Church, where it's about relationship, not religion, and where Jesus Christ is Lord. For more information, find us online at christcommunityalamo.org.
There are no roadblocks scheduled today on either Highway 70 or 54 South. For the latest roadblock information, call 575-678-1178.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back to the KNMZ Football Roundtable. Moving on to our pro picks for this week. And starting off with Jacksonville at Buffalo. Hey, you know, the Bills looked good a couple weeks ago. They get Josh Allen back this week. Jacksonville blew a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Steelers. I don't think Jacksonville's anything special. I do think they're better than Buffalo. They should win this game. They're getting 3 on the road. But you know what? I'm going to do what I did a couple weeks ago. I'm going to go Buffalo at home. They get Josh Allen back. I think the Bills' defense will keep it close. And after that point, I think it's a toss-up because, hey, if bad Blake Bortles shows up, I think the Bills have a real chance of winning this game. So I haven't picked the Bills much this year. I did well with them against the Jets a couple weeks ago. I'll try it again this week, see what happens. Manny?
Yeah, not very interesting football game. 3 to the Jags. Over and under is 37. That's pedestrian.
I would take the under. I think it's probably a 16-13 kind of game, in all fairness.
And Jacksonville, they're just too unsteady. I'm going to go Buffalo at home. Why not?
There.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
All right. Justin?
I think that if Josh Allen wasn't playing this game, I would probably take Jacksonville. But they're not calling them Saxonville anymore for a reason, right? They're having to play well back. Their defense isn't showing up like they did last year. I'm taking Buffalo.
And I think, not Josh Norman, but I can't think of his name all of a sudden. The DB for Jalen Ramsey. I don't know if he'll have that big of an impact this game because they're not going to try. The Bills aren't going to try to throw the football a whole lot with Allen. They'll be running it a lot more with him. So we'll see. Tim?
Yeah, this is kind of one of those games you want to watch, just to kind of see how it goes, because it's kind of a different brand of football. Talk about the antithesis to the Rams-Chiefs from Monday night. This is it, right?
I think you want to watch it like people want to watch a train crash or things like that.
Yeah, not even like that
Dumpster
bad.
fire.
No, not necessarily. Just kind of there's so many people complaining, well, this is not the NFL, the high scoring is the NFL. We want grinded out, 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of a game. This is going to be probably really cold. 2 defensive-minded teams are going to run the ball a lot, and they should. I think Leonard Fournette is back for Jacksonville. They almost got their first win in 6 weeks, but Jacksonville's riding 6 straight losses. So to me, the NFL, you don't lose 7 in a row. So I think Jacksonville's going to win this game on the road.
Browns on that one.
And the Colts a couple of years ago, too.
Yeah.
Jake?
Tim said it exactly what I was looking at was the 6-game losing streak, and that's just huge. I think Josh Allen is coming back. They're saying that holding him back and holding the clipboard, he says, is super, super healthy, so I do think they might actually throw the ball a little bit. I think going to take Buffalo for the first time ever.
And of course, the two people in first place are the ones that are going with Jacksonville, so that probably should make all the
We're
rest of us
nervous.
feel pretty bad.
We're nervous at the top.
I have zero faith in Jacksonville, and I think I expect Blake Bortles to go out there and do something stupid this weekend. So that's just my belief.
Fair.
How about the Raiders? Nice win over Arizona on the road last week. They go out to Baltimore. Is Flacco playing, or are they going to stick with Jackson this week?
I think Flacco's still hurt.
Is he still hurt?
Jackson to make his second start.
Okay, there you go. And he played well last week. He didn't throw the ball a ton. It wasn't especially accurate, but I think he had over 100 yards rushing. It's a different team with him in the mix. Baltimore's weird right now, though, because we talked about Clay Helton being on the way out. Some other the basic belief is that John Harbaugh's done with Baltimore after this season. His contract is up next year. He's talked about not wanting to be a lame duck coach, and so both sides are, it sounds like, going to part ways at the end of the season, which is interesting. But it's been a while since Baltimore won the Super Bowl. I mean, it's maybe time for a fresh start there in Baltimore. Raiders, Derek Carr came out and said he wants to ruin the draft pick for the Raiders and wants to play well here at the end of the season. We'll see if it happens, Manny.
Well, Marshawn Lynch is back, and I think that's the difference in this one. This is the only hope the Raiders have if Marshawn Lynch is really able to run downhill. And I think if he's back to full speed, he should be able to do that. I'm going Raiders on the road.
Lara.
I'm going to go with the Ravens.
All right. Justin.
I'm really rooting for Oakland in this game, but when you beat Arizona, who might be the worst team in the league, there might be 2 or 3, by 2 points, and you're going into Baltimore, I'll be rooting for the Raiders, but I'm taking Baltimore.
Tip.
So the argument can be made that with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, very simple offense, now it's on tape, they're just going to run it, and I don't know if Oakland can stop the run, but it really could be one of those games where Baltimore is very limited. They're going to be one-dimensional. They're only 5-5. It's not like
they're not very good.
Yeah, it's not like Baltimore's New England or Kansas City or something. So I think this game will be close. I definitely would not take the 10.5 points or swallow the 10.5 points if I was gambling. But I think Baltimore is going to win in a close game.
Jake.
Yeah, Oakland's been a dumpster fire all year long. It's hard for me to think that they're going to come into Baltimore and really make an impact. Interesting. I didn't know that about Harbaugh, that he was talking about not being the lame duck coach. That's news to me. I didn't hear that. So that said, I still think Baltimore's probably the better team. Yeah, Oakland beat Arizona, which, big deal. Come on.
Somebody had to win that game, and, they made it happen.
What was interesting was it was a last-second field goal, and then right after that, the Broncos squeezed one in. And I just was amazed at the similarity of the scores and the outcome.
Yeah, and certainly a bad loss for the Chargers in that Broncos game, for sure.
And I'm glad we won that game. I'm glad it's over. Carla is a Cardinal fan. And so it was really awkward around my house. She's not diehard, but she was not helping me at all.
I think there's some positive signs there in Arizona. I think Josh Rosen will be good after maybe a couple years, but I think I was really thinking about going to Oakland, but I'm going to go Baltimore. I haven't seen enough to make me think that Oakland can go a cross-country road trip and go out there and beat the Ravens. So I think Baltimore's got enough talent to win the game, even if. But I think Tim's right in saying that things could be really simplified and Oakland's defense could step up possibly. All right, New England playing at the New York Jets. New England 10-point favorites, but man, let's not forget New England's coming off. They are coming off a bye, but a couple weeks ago they had a very uncharacteristic loss. Now the Jets are we talked about Cardinals maybe being the worst team. I think the Jets honestly may be the worst team in the NFL right now. Todd Bowles is on his way out. I don't think anybody believes that this is going to end up with him keeping his job next year. So, but I think there's some positives. I think Sam Darnold's he's shown signs of being the guy, but I don't think they have him again in this game. I think McCown's starting again for the Jets. So we'll see what happens. Jake?
Yeah, I think you might be right on that. The Jets are still a little beat up. They've got some questions when it comes to coaching. It is New England. New England did kind of shock me when they lost to Tennessee here a couple weeks ago. That was definitely not on my radar. But they're traveling into New York as a 10-point favorite, and I still like Brady and Belichick in that matchup.
Uh-huh. I got to go Patriots. I mean, really hard for me to imagine a scenario that the Jets pull off this win. But they've done. I mean, they've snuck up on the Patriots a few times over the years in games that there was nobody expecting them to win. So.
And the Patriots do occasionally just lose a game that they just shouldn't lose, and it's either they came in there taking them too lightly, or the Patriots have done some weird stuff. I still think they'll be in the playoff hunt, but
Well, the way they lost to Tennessee, and then Tennessee turns around and just gets smoked by Indianapolis the next week, it's like, okay.
Yeah, but that same Tennessee did beat Dallas, too, which we didn't think was that big a deal. And all of a sudden, Dallas is actually looking halfway decent.
Yeah, NFL's weird, man. It's hard to figure that one out. Manny.
I heard Tom Brady on a radio interview this week, and he, I think he's getting ready for the rest of his life. It was kind of interesting. What he was talking about. It wasn't really much about football. It was about some of the things he's doing outside of the football world, and so that was just kind of interesting. I was kind of surprised. And so, Jake, what is life going to be for you after Tom Brady?
He'll be all right.
I'll be just fine.
He'll find a new team to follow.
I was going to say,
probably the Chiefs.
Jake's not a huge team guy.
I'm really not a team guy.
So when Brady retires, he'll become a Chiefs fan because he probably likes Patrick Mahomes.
I was actually born in Kansas City.
There you go.
And so the Patriots logo over your name is ceremonial.
Yeah, pretty much.
Symbolic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just he asked you a question. You said, put me down.
I picked this one here because I was pretty sure there would be a lot of hate for the New England Patriots, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to play the heel. Let's put on the Patriots. That's exactly what it was.
He thought it sounded like fun. And I appreciate him for that.
Okay. Next year, I would recommend that for Jake's logo or symbol, we put the emoji where the guy's kind of like
shrug emoji. Yeah.
Can we use my fantasy logo? That one tends to be pretty good.
There you go.
Or a really low bandwagon. How about that?
There you go. That too.
How about that? You could do that.
I probably could find a way. I'm not that mean though.
I'll take it. Put it on there. I'm fine.
You're going
with me one bit.
You're going with the Patriots, man.
Of course, I'm going with the Patriots.
All right, Lara.
All right, I am not a bandwagon fan, but I am a Patriots fan. So there's some ties there. So I have to stick with my team.
All right, Justin. He doesn't want to say it out loud.
Skip. Yeah, I'm gonna
Just vote president. Just vote president.
I'm gonna take the Jets.
Are you?
I can't take it.
Oh, you're going with the Jets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brandon. I'm sorry, man. I can't take them.
Watch lightning strike.
Oh, right. Watch Josh McCown go out there and throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
He's done it before. I mean, last year he actually had a pretty good year for the Jets. So, Tim.
So, Charles, I'm going to take this opportunity to pick on you.
Why?
You don't put Alabama in there because it's going to be a blowout. But we had Seattle at Carolina.
I know.
We had New England, we had the Packers versus Vikings. We had even Eagles Giants would have been compelling.
I always put all the NFL teams on there. The college ones I kind of picked mainly because in the NFL anything can happen, and we see teams that aren't very good that go out there and win every week. Meanwhile, in college football, if Alabama or Oklahoma or Florida are 35 point, well, I shouldn't use Florida because they're not going to be a 35-point favorite.
Fair.
Any of those or
True.
no?
I mean, the spreads are way crazy sometimes in college football. I'll give you that.
And here's the deal: if it was a 10-point spread in college, I'd put it on there. So
I think the last 2 years, Bama's maybe lost to like the number 1 or number 2 ranked team at some point in time, and it's normally really, really close, and then they turn around and pop it out in the championship anyway. So
well, they did lose to Auburn last year.
Yes, they did.
In the Iron Bowl. But anyway, of course, I'm going to go New England. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful that Justin picked the Jets. I wish Laura had.
Or me, or Jake, or any of the rest of us, yeah. All right, Pittsburgh going to Denver. They're getting 3 points. Denver's an enigma this year. I mean, they're clearly good enough to beat good teams this year. They did it last week against the Chargers on the road. If Case Keenum has a good game and the defense plays as well as they're capable of, there's some positivity there. In Pittsburgh, I mean, I don't know what Pittsburgh's block is against the Jaguars, but they do not play well against them. They pulled it out of the hole last week and managed to get a win. So the Steelers are a weird one. We want to believe they're as good as Kansas City and New England and some of the other really good teams in the AFC, but I don't know. I'm not feeling too hot about them at the moment. Blair?
I have to go with the Steelers.
All right, that's okay. Justin?
Yeah, I'm taking Big Ben and the Steelers as well.
All right. Tim?
Yeah, it was a great win last week for Denver on the road against what we thought was a really good LA Charger team. Case Keenum, though, he's got to stop turning the ball over. He's got 10 interceptions. He's just not good enough to overcome that. And the Steelers are hot. Maybe hot too soon, but they're hot right now. And so I think they'll make this road trip and do just fine. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I don't think Pittsburgh's one of the better teams as far as like the top 5, but Big Ben really has his team rolling. I thought the Le'Veon Bell mess was going to be way worse than it's turned out to be. I think James Conner's kind of stepped in, filled that role better than anybody thought. And I did pick him up for my fantasy team, so I'm going to keep riding James Conner, and we'll take Pittsburgh in this game as well.
And I drafted Le'Veon Bell with my first pick, so...
Yeah.
I kept Le'Veon Bell with my picks. I wasted a pick on that one.
Well, everybody thought that he was going to come back at some point this season, and obviously not going to happen. I'll go Pittsburgh. I certainly think Denver can pull this out. If Pittsburgh plays like they did last week against Jacksonville, this will be an ugly, 2019 kind of game. But I think even in that case, I trust Pittsburgh to find a way to win, even if they don't play their best.
I will say, though, the elevation could be an issue on this one, too. That is always the case when you go to Denver. Is like I said, the oxygen's a lot thinner.
So. Great home field advantage. Yeah.
And I think it's supposed to be pretty cold tomorrow, or on Sunday, I should say. Manny?
Yeah, and I'm grateful for this, speaking of Thanksgiving, that the Denver Bronco fans that I know have been really quiet. They've been really quiet. And normally there's 2 or 3 of them that are really obnoxious, and they trail me. They stalk me through the football season. They've been really quiet this year, so I'm grateful for that. It's about quarterback play, and I believe the Steelers are a much more physical team. Now, the altitude, good point. Got to give you a little bit of a note on that, but I'm going Steelers on the road.
All right. Everybody likes Pittsburgh there. Miami going to Indianapolis. Indy getting 7.5, playing very good football at the moment. Miami has shown signs of being pretty solid this year. You just wonder, is it the Indy that has played so well over the last couple of weeks? It's protected Andrew Luck, run the ball well. He's spreading the ball around to a bunch of different guys. This feels like old school Indianapolis. When they made the transition from Peyton to Andrew, and it seemed kind of seamless, and then the injuries caught Luck, and now he kind of seems like the old Andrew Luck again, which I'm not sure Colts fans really were for sure that was going to happen.
I knew it all along.
Yeah.
Never had a doubt.
Never had a doubt.
Never.
I'm sure the thought crept into your mind at least once. Maybe a little bit. All right, Justin, who do you like?
Well, I'm definitely taking Indy at home. Andrew Luck's second in the NFL in touchdown passes. Run game, we have found a way to actually run the ball here the last few weeks. So, but you never know. I mean, Miami. No, we're taking Indy.
All right, Tim.
Talk about 2 different teams going in opposite directions with the exact same record. You'd almost think the Colts were, 7-3, 8-2, and Miami was 3-7 or 2-8 or something. But they're both 5-5, which actually shocked me. But Miami, they're getting Ryan Tannehill back. I don't know if that's good or bad, quite frankly. And if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes and Drew Brees, I think we'd be talking about Andrew Luck for MVP. He's been fantastic the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to go Colts at home.
I'm sure they're finding some way to get Rodgers in that conversation too, because he always is.
Heck no.
Despite his record. I like
everybody has a man crush on Aaron Rodgers.
I think he's a little on the overrated side, but I also think it's a system thing. So hopefully that gets.
I don't think he's
had shake up.
I don't think he's had a very good head coach his entire run, and I also don't think he's had the players around him, that being Aaron Rodgers.
Which is fine, but they talk about him like he's a Tom Brady, a Drew Brees all the time, and I just don't know that that's an accurate. I mean, you got to win. At some point in time, you have to win a game.
Well, I mean, he's got a Super Bowl ring. He's got the same amount of Super Bowl rings that Drew Brees has. I'm just saying.
Doesn't have as many as Brady does.
But again, you got to individual. I was going to say individual stuff and team stuff. You got to try to find a way to separate those a little bit. Like we compare LeBron and MJ in basketball, and clearly MJ has had better teams over the years than LeBron did. So I think it's kind of the same with Rodgers and Brady. But
I would agree with that. I'll take Indy in this one.
Yeah, I like the Colts. Manny?
Yeah, I've always been kind of a closet Colt fan, going back to the days of John Unitas with those high-top black shoes, and I always just had a little bit of a soft spot for the Colts, and I like Andrew Luck. I'm going to go Colts with this one. They've won 4 in a row. Miami's lost 3 out of the last 5. You got to go Colts in oil can.
Right?
I'm going to stick with the Colts solely for one player only, and that's Adam Vinatieri.
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
showing her Patriot fan.
He's been with the Colts now longer than he was with the Patriots, right? I think, yeah. Cleveland at Cincinnati. It should be a fun game. Cleveland's playing well. Since he's getting 3 at home, they're not playing especially well, but I think this is one of those that's just kind of a difficult game to pick overall. And since Tim didn't have his Cowboys on here, he gets to go here. Who do you like, Tim?
Yeah, how about them Cowboys, by the way?
Yeah,
We've eaten up all the time, so I'll just say very quickly, I actually think Cincinnati with Dalton Green, Mixon, and Boyd are going to pull it off even if A.J. Green doesn't play.
All right, Jake?
Cincy.
I'm going to go Browns. Manny.
WKRP in Cincinnati. And before I give up the microphone, one more shout out to Rick Underwood. You're welcome. Amari Cooper, you're welcome, Rick.
Thanks, Lara.
The Browns.
Oh, she likes Browns. Justin.
I'm going to go with Cleveland as well.
All right, so even split there. I like it. All right, and Saints looked very good last night. The Bears are all of a sudden looking like they didn't have their quarterback yesterday in their defense. Their celebrations yesterday were spot on, by the way. Very, very good. Hey, that does it for the show today. We'll talk to you guys next week. Hey, come out to the Tiger Pit tonight. Black and Gold Mania. They're kicking off the season tonight, so come on in and check it out.
You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7, Southern New Mexico's sports leader, KNMZ Alamogordo.
And on the ESPN app.
What's your name?
Covino. As excited as everybody else is about football.
What am I going to do?
You go long.
Well, how long?
Until we start to look very small.
I've got exactly 28 minutes before I have to base again.
Wow, just like in the pros. This is Covino and Rich.
You want to go shotgun?
Yeah.